In the wake of the Fukushima nuclear disaster in March 2011, the Singapore Civil Defence Force felt that there was an urgent need to replace faulty radiation portal monitors, or RPMs, at the airport. Day 3 of ex-SCDF Chief Peter Lim's Sex for Contracts trial saw his former subordinates, Colonel Chin Lai Fong of the Logistics Department and Colonel Lien Wee Tek of the Hazmat Department, laying out the sequence of events that led to the tender. Lim had originally asked them to contact existing vendor CCOM, security solutions company IPS Securex, and to source for other companies that might be able to provide the walk-through radiation detectors. In the prosecution's examination with Colonel Lien, he said that he had met Lim to seek for a limited tender for the RPMs due to the urgency of the situation, and since CCOM was the existing vendor of the RPMs, that SCDF should limit the tender to them. In a discussion on the 30th of March, however, Lim told Colonel Lien to proceed with an open tender, meaning that any company could submit a bid for SCDF's tender. A closed tender would mean that the tender will be limited to just one company and would be a much faster way to obtain the RPMs than an open tender, which could take up to 6 months. According to Colonel Lien, he wasn't surprised at Lim's change in his decision, as he deduced that his former boss felt that the Fukushima incident had stabilized and the threat was not as urgent. It was also revealed on Wednesday that 5 companies ended up submitting bids for the open tender. 2 of the 3 women linked to Lim, Ms. Pang Cho Mui and Ms. Lee Wei Hun, worked in 2 of the companies. The companies that the women worked at the time, Nimrod Engineering and the Singapore Radiation Centre, were amongst the 5 companies that submitted a bid for SCDF's Radiation Portal Monitor tender in April 2011. Now the other 3 companies are ATT Systems, Precision Technologies, and existing vendor CCOM. Lim faces 10 counts of corruption, but the prosecution is proceeding with the first charge involving Ms. Pang. Ms. Pang and Ms. Lee were said to have given Lim sex or oral sex in exchange for advancing their company's business interests. During the cross-examination of the 2 witnesses, defense lawyer Hamidul Haq established that his client had put in place processes to ensure that the tender approval process is fair. This includes having an evaluation committee made up of directors from various departments. The trial continues tomorrow.